Hello everybody, it's Lisa Brown from Brown Goes Crafting. We're taking one of the cutting boards that I have on my website, and this is a new size that I have. We're going to paint it with some Waverly White Snow, I think it's white snow is what it is, chalk paint. We're going to go ahead and dry it, and then we're going to put some Mod Podge on it. And we're going to use that other church rice paper that I did the other day, and we're going to add it to this little board here. And we're going to use some Wood U Bend to make sure we've got it all covered up. Once we have this Mod Podge on, I'm going to go ahead and dry it. Then we're going to go ahead and iron it on. And I forgot to take all of the white off of the top. The bottom didn't have any. And I didn't take enough of it off, so we're going to have to sand that off once we get it on. And it turned out okay because we're going to have to piece it together anyway at the top and put the Wood U Bend up to cover the line at the top and the bottom. It's just a little shy on both ends. We're going to go ahead and take our little piece of sandpaper, and I'm going to take off my side pieces. And then I'm going to just use the edge and just sand off that little white edge right there because it didn't glue down. And I didn't want it to glue down, actually. Just going to sand that off and then go over to the other side and sand that off. It's about a 1/2 inch on both sides. Once we have that all on, we're going to go ahead and stain the top of the board, and I did finish the back of it off. I just didn't show it here. Went ahead and stained the top of it, and now we're going to use some Wood U Bend. And this was just a little piece that I had left, and look how that just uncurls with just a little bit of heat. And this one is very fragile because it is a really thin piece. And I did break one of the pieces, but we're going to go ahead and use it on the bottom anyway. I broke it while I was painting it and drying it. We're going to use some raw umber chalk paint that I have, and it matches it pretty good. It took a little bit to paint it because these are some little bitty tiny beads, half beads on top of it. Once I got that all painted really good, I started out with a wipe, and then I ended up having to go to a foam brush to get it down in the crevices of these little beads because it was a real small space. And once I have them all dry, this is where I broke one of the pieces off. And we are going to glue it back together because you can glue Wood U Bend back together as long as you have both of the seams the same the pieces put together, which we did. We're going to go ahead and dry this, and I want to make sure they're good and dry before I add them to this board. And on the first one, I decided to go ahead and use some of the Heavy Bond. It's supposed to be a gel, but mine's kind of a clumpy, creamy consistency. I think it may either got cold or it may have got warm, but it still works just as good. You can see I'm having to put it off my finger, and it is got some little clumps with it, but those actually mash out. We're going to go ahead and put it on, and it was really sticky, and it held just as good as the wood glue. You can see that piece on the bottom that I broke. I am going to use wood glue on the bottom piece because I want to make sure those are down as tight as I can get them. This one here did go down tight. I'm going to take a brush and get off all those little specks. We're going to go ahead and get the tight bond out, and we're going to put some on these two pieces here. And I want to put a piece on the end that's going to attach to the other side, just like right there. We're going to lay that down, and I'm going to hold it down for just a second. And then I had that backwards, and then I had to turn it again, I believe. I'm going to heat that up just so I make sure it lays down flat because it's more pliable when it's warm. Once we get all the wood glue down, and we'll flip that around again. I put a little bit on the end there to butt it up against that little piece that we broke off. And now we've made a really good repair. I'm making sure I wipe all of the wood glue out as I press it down. Some of it just seeps out of the pores of the bottom of it, and we want to make sure we get that wiped off while it's still wet. I couldn't find my other cutters that I had, so I'm just using these right here. I just had to cut off a little bitty piece because we're going to have to sand it anyway to make those edges kind of rounded at the end. That way it follows the edge of that board. It just kind of looked funny being straight across with a little bit hanging off. So I did clip it and I sanded it, and then I painted those edges again. I think this turned out really cute. I think the Would You bin actually made it look really, really cute. And I went ahead and I took some of that bronze paste that I had, and I went over the tops of the beads just to give them a little bit of sparkle. That way they didn't look so flat. I'm going over the edges just a little bit with some of that paint just to seal off the color of the paper there. You can see now I'm just using a little bit of that paint that I had, that I left the lid off and it got a little thick, and now I can use it like a paste. It really did come in handy. I'm just going over it. I hope you guys all have a great day today. Make sure you guys all stay warm. It is really cold here in Oklahoma. Have a great day.